I'm not a house. Okay, I'm a field off the plantation, but this woman is still on the plantation.
Boy, they're bold, aren't they? All gravity, any day above ground living. So you already know what to do. Share, like, and subscribe. That's right, share, like, and subscribe, because I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm different. Dr. Shiva. They're their ancestors. We'll just say that. Now, that clip you heard was from his live stream recapping his interview with Sabby Sabs. I tagged her in the video title, so you can go over there and peruse her content. Now, let me just get this out the way. I don't agree with everything Sabby Sabs says. That's fine. As YouTubers, we're all not going to agree with everything. But on this, I'm going to agree with her, because for Dr. Shiva to sit up here and talk about he going to run for POTUS, how do you not understand the history of this country? Let's just address the elephant in the room. Let me get this out the way before I give him a history lesson. Sir, you've tried this before, because I owned you about 2 years ago, maybe last year. I forget when I did the video. I'll put it up in the right-hand corner. And I exposed the fact that you're trying to appeal to MAGA, and MAGA doesn't even want you around them. Trump doesn't even mention you. He hasn't even considered you for a position if he wins. But you want to be this Jersey triad, Jersey Shore, I'm elitist, Jersey degenerate. You out here threatening people, and you expect POTUS. You expect the American people to vote for you. All right, fine. That's fine. But what you did, sir, was very disrespectful. You over here. You know what? I didn't even play that. Oh, he said more about Sabby Sabs. Yes, he did. And we're going to play that. We have the clips. So we're going to hit up real time.
Frankly, Sabby Sabs thinks she's smart, but she's basically house to Jill Stein. Wouldn't you say so, Crystal? She is promoting Jill Stein, and she said, I don't think she's a Zionist. Jill Stein is a...
Okay, so you heard that part. There's more, but I want to address this part first. Now she's a HS to Jill Stein. Okay, so apparently the way I'm hearing it is she wants Jill Stein for president because she is the only one that's really seriously talking about reparations, even though we have documented on this platform as well. We'll also put it up in the right-hand corner if we can. The live I did when she went on the Breakfast Club and explained reparations. I'm not thoroughly convinced. And again, we heard, if you're in this sector, what she said to Jason Black. I'm still not convinced. And I've already said that I don't like the fact that the Green Party is not outside like the Republicans and the Democrats. If you want that party to grow, you got to get outside. But to call a black person a house, whatever, to a white woman or white man or whoever, you, in this climate, you know, where they like to say everything is woke, you thought that was impressive. But all right, you got more. Go ahead, sir.
Jill Stein said that Cynthia McKinney is anti-Semitic because Cynthia McKinney, a black woman, a real black fighter, not like this wannabe Martin Luther King
Another shot at that woman.
Individual, didn't want to really address the fundamental issue that Jill Stein is a climate change scammer. Jill Stein is part of the not so obvious establishment. And what we want to talk about is that the real evil in the world is a not so obvious establishment. And Sabby Sabs is deathly afraid of real revolutionaries coming bottoms up because there's been a whole strata of black misleaders in the United States. And she wants to be part of that black misleader group.
Most of the right is not bright. I guess this man forgot that we've been calling out the black misleader group for decades. The black grassroots that's come before us and are present today. We don't care who you are. If you're leading us, as Brother Martin Luther King has said, leading us into a burning building, we're going to call you out. This is a new generation. We are well researched. We are well read. We are very, very auditory when it comes to the future of Black America. And we're going to make sure you know. But go on.
Martin Luther King was a misleader, not Malcolm X. You see, she didn't really like me talking about Malcolm X.
All right, here we go. Now, y'all know I've been wrong about MLK. MLK stood on business. Was he misguided at the beginning? Yes. But he understood once he saw certain things that he has to advocate for his people. And his tactics weren't always going to work, especially with the evolving times that he was entering, especially the 60s. And he famously said, we're coming to Washington to get our check. And him and Malcolm, yeah, they had ideological differences at the beginning, but they both understood that the plight of their people was number one. And the health of their people is paramount. So he agreed there. But if he's such a misleader, how come he has a holiday? But okay. You got it. Continue, sir.
And when she wants to talk about reparations, well, let's talk about reparations in the deepest level, okay? As someone put up here, it was Africans who actually practiced slavery. We cannot forget that. Some of the earliest slaves in the United States, in fact, there's enough evidence to say that an Indian, an indentured servant, was the first slave who came to the United States. And we cannot forget the fact that the Irish also were treated as slaves. But the reality is, where do you start the reparations? And do we then make Africa pay for this? Because it was Africans who sold these people into slavery. Am I not right? So where does it start? And then we have to talk about reparations of the broad mass of working people, white people too, who were treated as slaves all over the world. So the reality is, yes, slavery existed. And yes, we must make the elites pay for this. But which elites? I would argue that let's give reparations to all people, everyone, okay? All the working people of the world who have fought imperialist wars. Let's talk about all of them. Let's talk about all people now. Let's talk about reparations in its fullest sense. And I'm ready to have that discussion. But she didn't want to have that discussion because she is a Aunt Jemima who wants to be a Jill Stein house.
All right. For anybody who needed any more clarification, there's most of what I got. Okay. Now he's talking about people aren't intelligent. Sir, you tried to sue claiming you were the inventor of email and you ended up settling. So, yeah. All right, dude. Anyway, you over here calling her Aunt Jemima. By the way, that was modeled off a white woman, but you know, we're not going to go there today. That's history. You can go look that up. I've actually covered that on this channel as well. You could find it. It's kind of old. But anyway, let's get back to this. History lesson time, Doc. Maybe you don't know this, but indentured servitude is not the same as slavery. I thought this was established, but I guess, you know, maybe you didn't get it in the email. Maybe it didn't come through the server. You know, maybe there was what they call it, the syntax error, or, you know, whatever. The gateway didn't work that day. That's what happened. The gateway was shut. It went somewhere else. Went to another Dr. Shiva. Okay. Indentured servitude means, yes, you work for somebody, but you get paid. Slaves don't get paid. I thought this was established, but okay, maybe you didn't learn that in school. Okay. Then here we come with the old, well, everybody on earth was a slave. Okay, great. Go get your coins. It's funny that y'all bring up everybody was a slave when it comes to black people that are descended from this country, or, you know, the ones that are on code in the Caribbean and Africa and ask for reparations and demand reparations. Then all of a sudden everybody was a slave. Okay, good. Then everybody should be getting at everybody. And yes, Africa has to pay. Okay. They're on the list. My people are from Jamaica. They're on the list with the other 7. So it's okay. Since Kamami and them want to send money over to Africa, they can just give it right back. That'll be a nice start. But here's where he lost me. The Irish were slaves. Boy, where do they find these people? You could easily Google this. The Irish were never considered slaves in America. Never. And please let us know this one Indian person that was the first slave over here. Let me guess. They came with the British, right? Them early British or African ships that came over here. It was the one person on there, right? And they were a slave. They weren't being worked. They were part of the expedition team. That makes them a slave, right? I'm sure you're going to tell us when Yasuke went over to Japan, he was a slave, right? Boy, and MAGA, let me holler at you. I'm not putting this all on you, but the fact that you got some of your people over there platforming this man, that's crazy. Look at this screenshot that I put up, family. This man is over here in a Zoom call with a bunch of white supremacists. And if you don't believe me, he literally did this. It was his town hall. You can go look for it on his channel. Look at the comments. Dr. Shiva, you're great. You're great. Talk about that infrastructure. Okay. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. He mentioned something in that live stream and also on his own channel from those clips I played, talking about infrastructure when it comes to reparations. If there's no infrastructure, then there's no reparations. Stupid. Let's help you. Infrastructure. Black America already has the infrastructure.
Mike Wilson.
With the limited resources Black America has, they've created an infrastructure. There's black businesses. There's black generational wealth, as little as it is. Black students are still being educated. Maybe not the rates that y'all are like, but there's still education going on. There's still family structures. They're still thriving. It may not be like everybody else, but there's an infrastructure there. And y'all know this. It's not being invested because they're scared of black people rising up. With the limited resources we have, we still change the world. Doesn't matter what industry, the 9 areas of human activity, black people thrive. And black people can outpace and outperform anybody you put us up against. And y'all know that. Excuse me. So, when we're talking about reparations in terms of infrastructure, we're talking about giving the descendants their cash payments for what their families and their ancestors went through. Why are y'all so scared of competition? I thought this was a free market system. Why are you scared? You don't want to be at the bottom? Well, guess what? People's character comes out when they're under adversity. Winners come out of trials and tribulations. You guys might be better for it. But we understand, because voices like yours, Dr. Shiva, would get lost in the shuffle. It's already lost now. Because for someone that has Indian background, I understand Kamami's the hot ticket, but let's see. Vivek, wayside. Nimrod Rada Ranhawa, aka Nikki Haley, gone. Tulsi Gabbard identifies as Hindu. She had to get on with MAGA. And here you are, underground. Nobody cares. You over here buying views on YouTube. You have almost 250,000 subs and nobody cares about your content. But I get it. You needed this to generate some buzz. Well, I'm just a product of immigration. Maybe my words will go far, maybe it won't. But all I know is they say Sabby Sabs is part of the lineage. So we let the cousins handle that. And I'm pretty sure that once they get their hooks into you, you gonna need YouTube to give you some reparations, because that money gonna dry up real fast and in a hurry. But anyway, y'all, let me get up out of here. You already know what to do. Share, like, and subscribe. That's right, share, like, and subscribe, because I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm different. Take care, stay safe. I'm out. And before I do leave, I'm gonna play for you the exchange that Sabby Sab had with this man after it was over, and how she was standing on her lineage. Now, again, salute to you, Sabby Sab. We don't agree politically on everything, but I just felt as though, as a black man in America that has melanated parents, I just figured I'd have to defend my cousin. I'm out.
So the reason why I asked you about a black agenda is because I noticed on your website, I did not see that. And when I hear this phrase of infrastructure, I feel like, again, that is in my opinion, what I've heard, again, this is the same type of talking point that I do hear, particularly from elites and, people that are from these elite academic institutions that live here in Massachusetts. And they truly believe that all you need to do is fix infrastructure. But the reality is there is a debt that is owed to descendants of slavery in this country that has not been paid. And that repair does need to be made.
I think you have to take a systems approach to this. And this is not an elite thing for me, because I know where I came from. All right. There's a lot of black bourgeois who talk about that, but they don't want to address the issue either. And the fundamental issue is,
I'm very well aware of that, Dr. Shiva, and I've actually called out those individuals on this show multiple times. I'm very well aware of that. And I don't mean for you to get defensive. But the reason, again, I have called out those people on this show multiple times. My viewers be the first to let you know. So I'm very well aware of that. But I think you are bringing up two different things. 1 minute where I was mentioning to you reparations, which is a debt that is owed. And now you bring up fighting for racism. And fighting against
both things. Both things, Sabby. No,
there's a difference. Well, let me finish what I was saying. There is a difference between racial justice and a debt that is owed. And that's just what I want to get across to you. No, right, they are two different things.
You're trying to put them into two different buckets. I'm saying they're interrelated. So the reparations at MIT that need to be owed was that you have a bunch of people who came who were never given infrastructure, at all. So the debt
that is not how reparations works, Dr. Shiva.
No. That is your definition of reparations.
No, Dr. Shiva, with all due respect, listen, with all due respect, I don't try to tell you how to do science. So I would really appreciate it if you don't try to tell me.
That's like saying, wait, Sabby. You're looking at a dark-skinned human being.
No. Dr. Shiva, I do not try to tell you how to do your job. I don't try to tell you about that.
What's my job?
What I am saying, Dr. Shiva, what I am trying to, if you interrupt me again, I'm going to mute you. What I am trying to explain to you is this. You cannot sit here and try to tell me what reparations is. I know what it is. It is the debt that is owed.
Indentured servants in the United States. So don't talk to me about that. Lower caste Indians, my great-grandfather was a fucking slave. So don't talk to me about that. You know better than me.
Dr. Shiva, with all due respect, you don't know everything. You don't know everything. No, you do not.
And neither do you, Sabby.
I don't claim to.
Because you have a dark skin, I have a dark skin doesn't mean
there are certain things.
Racism is different than
This
mine.
is not about skin color.
Yes, it is.
This is about lineage. No, it is not.
Oh, really? And I don't know about lineage?
You don't know.
Bullshit.
Dr. Shiva.
You don't know my journey.
Dr. Shiva. What I'm trying
we grew up under slavery and indentured servitude. You don't know about that.
I am not talking about India.
Then get to the point and don't try to look at me.
I'm talking about a debt that is owed to descendants of slavery in this country. I am not talking about India.
I'm not talking about India. I'm talking about here.
What I am saying is, it is very important on this show. No. It's very important on this show that we don't intermix the two, because what has happened is people will say, if you cut me off again, I swear to God, I will end this interview. I'm not kidding.
Don't threaten me. You can end it.
I'm not kidding. No, Dr. Shiva, I'm not kidding. And honestly, you're acting like an arrogant jackass. I'm telling you right now, you're acting like an arrogant jackass. Oh, I am very familiar. I am very familiar. You have no respect right now.
You're
I have
yelling at me.
listened to what you had to say, but do not come on here and disrespect me.
Listen to anything I have to say. You kept interrupting me.
That's it. Goodbye.